to Sabertooth Pottery. Today's video is going to be about how to center your clay on the wheel. If you're new here and you still don't know how to wedge your clay, go ahead and watch the previous videos on how to wedge your clay. If you want to keep up with my tutorials on how to work with clay, I'm going to be posting about how to work with everything, how to do it on the wheel, pinch pots, hand building sculptures. Feel free to click like and subscribe. Today we're just going to be focusing on how to center your clay, and real quick I just want to go over the tools that we're going to need and then we can get started. So the first tool that you're going to need is your clay of choice. I work with Lacuna clay, B mix cone 10. The second tool you're going to need is a sponge to hold in your hand while you're centering the clay. Then you're going to need your big sponge to clean up afterwards, a bucket for putting water in, you're going to need lots of water, and then a big bucket for your refuse. So let's go ahead and get started. Alright, so here we are. This is the scary part, is centering your clay for the very first time. Or maybe you've already been practicing for a while and that's great and you still just don't have the hang of it. I hope to be able to answer some questions today and make it more simplified and easy. I'm rooting for you. Let's do this. Alright, make sure you have your sponge. Put it in your water, get it nice and wet, and just leave it there in your water. You have your ball of clay. So what we're going to try to do here is we're gonna smack it down right in the middle, like that. Give it some good force, get some good push, like it adheres to your wheel. What I like to do is to push down the sides a little bit so it really sticks to the wheel head. And then get my fingers wet, just go over that a little bit, push it down. So the first thing you're going to notice is that your clay is very off-center, and the whole point is to get your clay nice and center. So start with getting your clay wet with your sponge in your water and your hand as well. You want it nice and wet so it's slick and easy, because if your hand is too dry and your clay is too dry, it's going to be very sticky and it's going to be very hard for it to move slickly and smoothly. So first thing is make sure that my elbow is nice and wedged into my hip here to keep it nice and still and steady. You don't want your arm to move back and forth, but you do want your hand to move in and out. That's okay. So have it loose there, but have it nice and tight here, nice and rigid, so that way you have control. Make sure we're nice and wet here. And then what I'm going to do is take this part of my hand right here, and with my arm nice and steady, I'm going to gently push against the clay. Just so that you can see that it's already starting to try to get straight here, try to get nice and centered. And then you're going to take your other hand, and with this part of your hand here, where your knuckles start, you're going to squeeze the clay. You're going to put these two parts of your hands, like pretend they're touching each other. And you're going to start from the bottom and squeeze up. Gently. And then you're going to start getting this cone shape. Stay nice and wet. So one of the things I like to do is I can use both of this part of my hands and interlace my fingers together like this. And bring it up. If that's easier for you, you might want to try that. Now that we've gotten to this point here, if we keep going up, the clay is going to come off the wheel. So now we have to go back down. So to do that, you want your hand here again, and you want your thumb over the top, because as you're pushing down, if your thumb isn't over the top, this clay is going to try to go out this direction. So make sure that your hand's nice and on there, but the clay isn't going anywhere. And here, you're going to push clay slightly away from you and at an angle. I don't know if you can see that, but you're going to keep it like that, keep it at an angle, and it's going to turn at an angle like this. And you're gently going to push down, guiding with your thumb. remember to keep your arm as stiff as possible, because the clay down here at the bottom is going to try to push out as you're pushing down. As you push down, the clay is going to want to go somewhere. So you want to keep your hand nice and stiff here. And I then push down here with my thumb, and I can use my top hand to help get this nice and flat. And you might need to do this a couple times. A lot of people can do it on the first try, but here, because we're going so slow, the clay is still not centered. So I'm going to do the process again, and I'm going to do the exact same thing, but a little bit faster. So if you feel like you're not caught up yet, go ahead and start over the video if you wish, or just keep watching. So I'm going to push inwards again, a little faster this time. Pushing in from the bottom first, and then working it up, pinching it up. As you're doing this, you'll feel that the bottom gets straighter and the spiraling part, the part that's uneven, starts going up to the top. And that's exactly what you want. And then once you get it up to the top, you're going to push it all back down again. So just do that as many times as you need to feel like you've gotten the hang of it. This is really, honestly, one of the hardest parts, is learning how to center the clay. The more you do it, the more your hands will get muscle memory and understand what you need to do. For me, I think it took like 6 months, literally, for me to just figure out how to center my clay. I took a course at our junior college, and the whole semester, I had never figured out how to center my clay. And I made a lot of crappy pottery. And I was like, this isn't for me. I was so fed up with it. But over summer break, I just kept thinking about it, and I wanted to go back, and I was like, I'm not gonna let this defeat me. So I went back, and for the first 2 months of that semester, I still could not center my clay. And I asked my instructor if I could come in every day until I got it. And I asked him so many questions. I asked all the other students how they did it. I just wasn't afraid to ask questions and be kind of annoying with, being persistent and getting that knowledge that I needed, because it's just something wasn't clicking. But the more I asked, the more I learned, and eventually just one day something made sense to my hands, and I got it. So I know it might be really hard, it might be really scary, but I am rooting for you. I want you to keep trying. You can do this. Anyone can do this. For some people it takes a little more practice. Other people, they get it right away. I'm going to bring it up again. I want you to see what shape it is. So you get it up in this cone, and at this point, it's very center. I don't feel any wobbling. You'll start to learn to feel that in your hands. So if you have any extra clay, if you do this a lot and your hands aren't wet enough, you're going to get a lot of extra clay in your hands, and that's okay. A lot of masters who've been doing this for a while, they can pull up pottery without getting their hands this messy. But if you get any of this extra clay, what I like to call slip, you can save this for your pieces later. We can put it in a little jar, or you can put it in your big refuse bucket, which is what I'm going to do, because I don't need that. So we've got this nice beautiful cone. Remember, you want your hand on the side like this, and your thumb on the top, and then you're going to push it away from you. You're going to guide it away from you. And I like to put my other hand down here, just so that the clay doesn't go flying away. And you're going to keep pushing at a downward angle away from yourself until the palm of your hand is touching the wheel head. And the shape you're going to want before you move on to the next step, which is creating a cylinder, is like this upside down bowl shape. You want this nice kind of like straight edge here. It can kind of go inwards a little bit. And then you're gonna have like an angle here, and then like a flat part right here. And it's like an upside down bowl shape. And that's exactly what you want before you start opening up your clay and making a cylinder. That's pretty much all there is to it. You can keep doing this as many times as you need to feel like you've got it before you open up the cylinder. If you're not feeling confident, I definitely recommend that you keep trying. I know it can be really scary and really intimidating if this is your first time doing pottery. It was for me, so I promise you everything's gonna be okay. You're going to understand it one day. Just persevere, do not give up, keep doing. Repetition is really important when it comes to pottery. The more you do it, the more your body, your hands will just understand. Don't think, just do. All right, let's get cleaned up. So at this point, if you want to, if you feel confident with your upside down bowl shape, you can go ahead and clean up a little bit. I'm using my little sponge here. It's nice and wet. Getting my wheel head cleaned. And from here, we would be opening this up and making our cylinder. That will be in the next video, so stay tuned. So that's the end of our video. I hope that I explained things well enough to help you understand a little bit more. If you feel like I didn't answer something in today's video, please comment below. Ask as many questions as you want. I'd love to answer them for you. Again, remember that repetition and practice is going to help you get to where you need to be. If you feel like after watching this video that you still don't really got a hang of things, feel free to go back and just watch it as many times as you need. There's no harm in doing that. I definitely practiced over and over and over until I finally understood what it took to center my clay. So I know it's hard, I know it's scary, but just keep doing it. I'm rooting for you. I want to see you succeed. So keep at it. Tune in for my next video. We're going to be going over how to make a cylinder. That's the exciting part. From there, you're going to start making pots. To get notifications for all of my tutorial videos and my ceramic throwing videos, hit the bell button, subscribe and like, and I look forward to seeing you next time. Until then, bye! Stage fright. Almost. This is like a 2-minute video and only like 10 seconds of it have been what I need to talk about.